All right, we are recording another wonderful interview on the Burnout Show. I am Dr. Veerle van Tricht, the burnout expert, and today we're talking with Theresa Fowler, who is a soul mentor. I love that. And she helps women love themselves. And we need that because I know as a burnout specialist that a lot of women who end up burnt out is because they don't prioritize themselves and they just give away all their energy and time to others. So they need to learn how to nurture themselves, how to love themselves. So that's beautiful. The reason I asked Theresa to come and talk is because she also has experience with chronic fatigue. And I think a lot of my listeners might also be suffering from the symptoms and signs of chronic fatigue, and they might not have been diagnosed correctly. So that's why I would love to ask you, Theresa, tell us a little bit about your journey being struck down with chronic fatigue, but your struggle of finding the right diagnosis and the right treatment so that other people can possibly recognize themselves in that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my chronic fatigue journey started at the age of 27, and it was after a really bad bout of glandular fever, which I didn't know I had because I didn't get the telltale symptoms and the rash and everything. I felt absolutely horrible. I think there were about 10 days when I couldn't even get out of bed. And at 27, when everybody's going out and doing things, I was a journalist on a music magazine. I was missing going out, So for me to be in bed for 10 days was a big thing. And I struggled with keeping going because I had to go to work, and it wasn't until about 6 weeks later when I saw my boyfriend at the time again. And that weekend he got the rash. And his doctor was like, "That's glandular fever you have." And he was like, "You've given me glandular fever." And I thought, but my doctors were just sending me back with paracetamol. I think by that time I'd been to the doctors 2 or 3 times, and they were like, "No, you're fine. Just take some paracetamol, a bit of a flu." And I went back saying, "I think you need to give me a glandular fever blood test." And, it took another 4 weeks for them to go, "Oh, yeah, we found it. Okay, we're going to sign you off for a month." But that month, I really felt bad. I kind of went back into a remission, and that started almost 7 years of chronic fatigue, where there were days that sometimes I couldn't even get out of bed. My immediate thought every morning was, what hurts the most? It was a dark hole.
Absolutely, yes. I have had a similar experience. I've also had glandular fever when I was 13 or something, and I was also down in bed, couldn't move for quite a while. I even passed out during my maths exam because my mom sent me to school to write exams with these huge glands and couldn't
Yes.
breathe well.
And
Yeah.
my
And I had
neck,
huge
glands under
fever.
my arms, my glands in my groin, they were for years afterwards. It wasn't until I started healing my body about 12 years ago. I remember being on the bus one day and going to scratch my neck, going, "Oh, that feels weird. What's wrong?" And it was like, "No, nothing's wrong. You've healed yourself. Your glands are no longer swollen." It was because, even after I had recovered and started feeling better, my glands were still swollen.
Yeah, it's wow, it's amazing how like a little tiny virus can really mess up our lives. So what brought you back from that deep black hole into the light?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's cool. It was meeting a homeopath completely by accident. A friend was going through some other stuff and said, "Well, how about this homeopath? Go see them." And I had no idea what a homeopath was. And I remember sitting there for about 3 hours, and she was doing the kinesiology on me, and I had no idea what was going on. And I was like, "This isn't going to work. This is insane. She's not giving me something to heal me, and she's telling me that I can't eat bread." I was like, What? Yeah, and it was difficult because it was completely taking me out of my construct of what I thought health was. I mean, the funny thing, it's funny now looking back on it, but both sides of the family are mired in chronic fatigue. I mean, sorry, in autoimmune disease. So it was kind of no brainer that I was going to get some form of autoimmune disease. And my father was an architect who specialized in building hospitals. So whenever somebody wasn't in the hospital, we were visiting a hospital that he had designed. So that's what I thought health was. I thought health was sickness.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that sad? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's insane. I know. So yeah, it was a long journey healing.
All right. So the homeopath probably started you off on your healing journey.
Yeah.
What else did you do, and what can you advise people who might be listening who think like, oh my God, I might have this? First of all, I would say go for the blood test. If you think you have similar symptoms, and there's a few other things they will test in your blood which can lead to chronic fatigue. There's also things like Lyme disease and things.
Absolutely. Mold.
Yes, mold, yeah. So it's very important though that you are educated and take responsibility for your health, and just like convince whoever, or come to me, I'll do your blood test.
Yeah.
So that you can get the blood test. I mean, I'm sure we can make it work because
exactly. Find somebody who is sympathetic to it.
Yes.
Because I found that my doctors at the time weren't very sympathetic. They weren't willing to listen. I was, and the problem that I had with chronic fatigue was everybody's like, you look fine.
Yeah.
Inside, I just felt like dying. Yeah, exactly. You look okay. And I just wanted to die, There were times when I just wanted to die. I got so low.
Yeah.
Am I ever going to feel better?
It's hard when you don't know what's wrong with you, because then you don't know. As soon as you know what's wrong with you, and there's hope that there's a cure and you will get better one day, I think that's what you need to keep holding on and starting your healing. Because if you don't know what you're fighting, it's hard to know
what direction to go in. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. So what would you advise people? Give us 3 golden nuggets.
Okay. My first one would be, when you're feeling like you can't do anything, give yourself that opportunity to rest, because our bodies are always telling us what to do. Most of the time we're ignoring it because we've been programmed to ignore what our bodies are telling us. So if you're like feeling that you need a rest day, take the time to rest. Don't feel obliged to do what others want you to do, because as I said, you'll get that, oh, but you look fine. And you're absolutely not. So yeah, rest when you feel like it. Number 2 is look for something alternative. Several things helped me. It wasn't just the homeopath. I started having body work done. So I found a holistic massage therapist who was like very gentle, but helping move my lymphatic tissue, lymphatic fluid around. I saw a Chinese herbal medicine therapist, and I was taking all these weird tinctures that smelled of feet, but they would help. Valerian really helped. It helped my nervous system to calm down and relax so that I could sleep. A lot of chronic fatigue has to do with your what's the word? Your nervous system. That's it. Your nervous system being on high alert, because you're always you're in such pain. You're always on high alert. So as soon as you can get that to calm down, things start happening. And the third one would be nutrition. Because when you're feeding your cells with what it actually needs, your body starts to respond better. So yeah.
Yes. It's very common because I've been through this similar journey. They told me no bread, no milk, oh, no dairy, and a heap of other things. My first homeopathic test, it was like all the things I like.
Things I liked, yeah, exactly. I was corn, it was tomatoes, it was bread, it was like, yeah, like everything I liked eating. I remember standing in the supermarket with this list of things that I couldn't eat and crying because I'm like, I don't know what to eat. It was insane. Yeah.
But this is interesting because, I mean, I see two ways. Maybe our body becomes reactive because we take a certain product a lot, or we crave what our unhealthy bacteria and our fungi in our body want. They say like we feed our microbiome. And Nisa, if our microbiome is like of the bad kind, of the unhealthy kind, it might just say like, buy me some sugar, buy me some ice cream.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what the subconscious mind is going as well. It's just like, oh, I want the bad stuff. I want the bad stuff. And you're thinking, because it's all to do with
it's you, but it's the bacteria.
Exactly.
Yeah, many years ago, I read a book when I lived in Paris for a year, and there was a book called about the second brain is your intestines. And I think now they know that there's so many nerve endings and cells in your intestines that it overruns sometimes your logical thinking, because
Absolutely.
so that's fascinating. I mean, I only discovered all of this in the last few years. 20 years ago, when I was down, nobody actually spoke about burnout. I never had that diagnosis. I mean, chronic fatigue was the closest, and polymyalgia was another one I got thrown at me. But you know what? Just to give people hope, I got over it. You know, I had similar help as you. I had a homeopath. I had body work done. I had spiritual healing done, Reiki. I had Chinese medicine. I love also acupuncture, but I prefer like to go to a real Asian doctor.
Yeah.
I had lots of herbs. I still take a lot of supplements, and I ended up, you know, still having 2 children, working full time, traveling the world after all of that. So there is hope. That's my story. There is hope. I also have been in a bed for a week that I couldn't move. And then you think like, this is it, this is the end. But no, luckily I was given like really good supplements, rest, and I got over it. So don't give up hope and keep on looking at say for somebody who takes you seriously. I think it's okay if you somebody puts you in front of a medical doctor and they don't take you seriously and you don't feel that they really have a good relationship with you. It's your right to find somebody else.
Absolutely.
Until you're happy. Okay, oops. I hope I'm not going to get into trouble for saying this again. But that's my personal opinion. I mean, we live in a country of freedom of speech, I thought.
Exactly.
So yes, that was awesome. So a little bit about how you help people love themselves.
Yeah, so, well, that's been part of my journey, hasn't it? So, because I didn't love myself at all during this time, I didn't know that. I had a lot of fun, but I didn't love myself. And yeah, it came to a culmination when I was 42. And I had another burnout and after a divorce and very stressful, you know, marriage. And I could feel everything coming on again. And at this point, I was 7 stone heavier. I was basically an alcoholic because I would hide all my feelings with the drink. And yeah, my body was shutting down again. And I thought, I can't do this again or else I will die. So I have to do something. And that started a process of me healing my body. And as I'm healing my body and feeling better, I thought, all right, I'm okay, everything's fine. And then I had a really bad accident, and on the floor, I'd already started my spiritual journey by this point. And as I'm on the floor, this angel appeared a human angel appeared. She had seen what had happened. She was calling an ambulance, and I'm lying there going, okay, there's a lesson in this. I know there's a lesson in this. And I asked my higher self, my guides, what is the lesson? And they said, love yourself.
Very, very good.
I went, oh.
So
that was
important. You know what? I think in autoimmune diseases, it plays a very important role, because if you don't love yourself, a part of you is attacking yourself. And
well, what I discovered was that autoimmune disease is a physical manifestation of self-loathing.
Yes. And I can imagine after your divorce, there must have been a lot of doubt, guilt, could have done something else. So you were beating yourself up with that inner voice, which often then causes accident. You know what? I am such a good manifester I sprain my ankle whenever I have a negative thought. And it's like instant. I was walking last week, and I was starting to go, no, I'm angry at the person, and like I said, okay, no. I know this always happens to me. It's just like instant manifestation. If I have a negative thought, I will go to the floor, and I know it. I know I shouldn't go there.
How many times before you clear that pattern?
Well, I haven't sprained my ankles for 15 years, but when it originally happened, it was like 3 times in a month, and then I got the message. So this was just a reminder, like, oh, I'm like revisiting a lesson from the past, but like in a lighter version, I feel.
Yes.
And I'm stronger.
Yeah, we're clearing old patterns now. There's an energy happening for us to really let go of those.
Tell me about it. Oh my God. For me, it's the 3rd time something is coming back in my life, but I feel, even though maybe objectively it's again really a tough thing to deal with, but I feel like, hey, I've done this before, it will pass. I've been here before. And that's just like, go through it again and step out of the void, step out of the drama and the trauma, and like, yeah, here we go again. I'm sure it will pass.
It will.
Yeah. So that's how we become wiser with age.
Absolutely. Well,
so,
some of us.
Thank you so much for your time and telling us a little bit about chronic fatigue and the solutions, and about loving yourself, how crucial that is for healing and your well-being. So you work with women and you help them to love themselves. So how can they reach you?
Okay, well, I'm still there on Instagram as the Theresa Fowler. That's TheresaFowler. And it's the same with the website, thetheresafowler.com.
Excellent. I'll make sure I put this in the notes with the video. And lovely meeting you. I hope we meet each other in person soon.
Absolutely.
And enjoy Mexico. I'm so
Thank you, Mila. Absolutely lovely. Bye-bye.
Bye.